Hello, Creative Tribe. I know it's been a really long time since I've done a video, so I thought I'd jump right back in from the 30th day of isolation and self-quarantine, and I just want to say hi to you guys. It's been rough, but I wanted to jump on here and do a crepe paper heritage layout today. And I'm just taking, you can freehand this, you can use your scissors and just hand cut these into waves and shapes. So we're going to make modern shapes with the 3 patterns from the crepe paper heritage line. I'm using my fingernail to kind of find the edge of the paper. That way I'm not going to waste any of the pattern paper. And then I'm just going to cut this like I'm showing you. I'm just going to make a wave pattern here. And you can freehand this with a cutting knife, or you can use scissors. Just use what you have. They don't make that EK Success Blade Runner anymore. That's like really old school. Okay, so I'm jumping into the Crepe Paper All Heart collection. And I'm cutting another freeform shape here. And I'm going to use the teal. So our color scheme is going to be the blush, muted teal, and mustard. So it's a modern color scheme, and it's also a modern design for this scrapbooking layout. This is super easy. And if you follow me on Instagram, I'll put some links below. If you follow me on Instagram, I gave a really super easy step 1, 2, and 3 in my Instagram stories for this layout. Now you can see I just used that blade, but you can go ahead and use your scissors to straighten up any edges that are too pointy. So now you can see how that photo is going to nestle right in there. I'm trying to decide, do I want it behind the blush diagonal stripe, or do I want it in front of it? So now what I want to do is create some watercolor areas. I'm going to have to custom mix some colors. So I'm getting the idea of where I want these pieces to be on the layout. I'm erasing some pencil marks there. And then I went off camera and stitched that because my sewing machine is off camera there. So I just hand mixed this and kind of eyeballed it in order to get this blush color. I'm using the Munyo 48 pan set there. It's pretty close match, so I had to add some white to pink and kind of a peach. So I'm just making kind of amoeba shapes, also some modern style shapes for the watercolor in the background, and then I'll go back and add some more color and some water just to give some variation there. But I want this to be modern, so I'm not going to be adding the mixed media all over the background. I'm just going to concentrate it in specific areas here. So now I'm going back and adding more concentrated color, and then when I dry this, you'll really be able to see the variation. So I'm just using the shapes to go back and make sure that the edge of that watercolor is going to be hidden, and once I dry this, you'll be able to see how it really looks a lot better once it's dry. That's kind of cool how you can see it dry. I wish it dried that fast in real life. I think this is sped up 4 times. I'm going back with the water brush and just adding another little section there. I'm just making sure it's dry before I move on to the next color, otherwise they would bleed together, especially with the red and green. So that's the blush, and then I need to custom mix a mustard watercolor as well. So I kind of like how that just gives some dimension and just adds another layer behind the paper pieces. So I'm just cleaning off my brush, and then I'm going to custom mix some mustard color on another block. That's pretty close. It looks really close on the block, and then I added too much of the yellow, so it's a little bit darker, but that's okay. It's okay to have some variation in the shade. So I can go over that blush watercolor section because that has already dried. I've already dried that with the heat tool just so that it won't blend. So I'm just creating, like I said, a kind of modern shape here. I'm adding some excess color. I'm just making sure the bottom of that's going to be hidden. Then I'm squeezing the brush to add lots of water here. You just saw lots of water flood out there. So then I'll use the heat tool to hurry up and dry this just so I get those water lines. And I really like that. It gives some movement even though there's not a lot of stuff going on in the background on this layout. So by drying that, we get those strong watermarks there. And then I'm going to have to custom mix a teal. So I like that. I'm just going back and adding it, seeing if I put it in the right spot. So I can't decide whether I want my photo up there or down lower, but once I get the teal watercolor, I'll decide that. So I just had to bring in my traveler's notebook just so that I wouldn't waste that little bit of mustard there. I just didn't want it to go to waste since it was really pretty color, and I noticed that it was going to match this other layout. So back to the current scrapbook page. And I'm cleaning it off on a wet wipe again. You just want to make sure you get all the color out of the end of the water brush. Okay, so I'm taking, I think it's malachite. Yeah, this is malachite or viridian green. So any kind of dark teal, and then we're going to add some red to gray it down or neutralize it, and then some white. This is pretty close to the pattern paper color. I definitely wanted it to coordinate and just kind of give you another layer, but not necessarily more colors, because I really like this color scheme. So we've got this really grayed down kind of shaded teal here. And so I'm going to dry that one as well. I made 2 little blobs there. And then you can see once you add the less concentrated color over, it'll create some dimension there. I'm just making sure this is dry. I'm drying the back and the front, and I'm just making sure this is dry before I go ahead and lay everything down because I didn't want it to get the papers wet. So now all you have to do after you do the shapes is do the watercolors and then just add the photo and embellishments. I'll kind of explain. I'm going to go through the sticker sheets here with the Heritage Collection. I thought of using those alphabets to create my title. I know that I want a kind of clean and simple title up in the upper right hand corner of the layout. Just so it kind of balances. There's a lot going on at the bottom left, so I just want to make the title at the top right. So I'm going to try out different die cuts from the pack. And that's what I'm going to eventually use as my title. It says Some Kind of Wonderful on that vellum piece. So here I'm adding in just different, I'm just laying these down and trying them and seeing what I like. At first I want to kind of keep the blush die cuts over the blush area. I'm just trying, I don't necessarily like that one with the words just in that area. I mean, I love the die cut, of course, but we're going to add some more behind the photo, and eventually I'm going to cut that photo just so it has a curved shape and looks more modern and kind of fits in with the pattern paper pieces. So I removed that word die cut, and I'm kind of thinking that looks a little bit better just to have the kind of triangular set of die cuts piled there. Where did I go? Okay, I'm back. I just had to go get some more stuff out of my Heritage pack there. So I'm getting this butterfly. I haven't used any of these yet, so I think that'd be the perfect thing to lay on the mustard area to kind of give a little bit of movement. And I'll end up using an odd number of butterflies here, so I'm looking through every kind of embellishment just to see what different kinds of butterflies I have. I have stickers, I have die cuts, I have transparent stickers. So I'm going to use the different styles. And here I get the idea that I want to use these clear stickers on the background because I really like how that just adds some more interest as well. And then the blush and mustard one can go over here because it kind of ties in with this. First I was going to put it over the watercolor area, but then I realized I kind of want these kind of aiming to the top left. So now I'm just going about deciding what else I can put on here, what other shapes I want to add. I kind of like the ovals. And let's see what I'm getting this one out for. Oh, those leaves. Yeah, the teal kind of dark teal leaves I'm going to add here. Just to create a little bit of differentiation in between all of those kind of modern shapes. Oops, I stuck it down. That wasn't where I wanted it, but I just peeled it up real easy there. So now I need to pick out a few more things. I like this sticker from the cardstock sticker sheets, but I added it on some tissue paper so that I could go around and kind of lift up the wings. So usually if I'm going to use a sticker that I don't want sticky, I'll just put it on some tissue paper, and then I'm going to cut off the white edging on this, just so that I can add that butterfly in and it won't have the border around it. So this way I'm going to be able to lift up the wings, and I'll only adhere the body. Carefully, I'm going to try to cut around the antenna without chopping them off there, using American Crafts detail scissors. So now that it's on the tissue paper, you can see it's lifted up, the wings are lifted up. So I'm going to do that again with this darker teal one. And I'm also going to cut the white border off of this one. Just a little tip I'd show you guys, if you happen to have some tissue paper laying around, you can always use that to place your sticker on, to remove the sticky if you want to get it up off of the background or elevate it up off the page. So I'm going to stick this one on the teal section because it's teal. And I'll also only adhere this one on the inside portion where the bug part is, not the wings. So I'm going to bend the wings up like that. I just like it because it gives a lot of movement when the wings are up. They kind of look like they're fluttering and leading your eye across the page. So I like that. It kind of softens the edges of the pattern paper where they meet the background. I thought it needed to be softened a little bit, and that's why I like to add some of the butterflies to the edge of the pattern paper pieces. So I'm showing you if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 butterflies. So now I've gone off camera and added everything with some adhesive, and I'm going to decide how I want to cut that photo. So I'm putting everything back where it was, hopefully. I think I took a picture, so I might have to look at my phone. And here's where I'm deciding, I don't know if I want to cut. I really like that photo, so I don't want to cut it, but I don't. I could cut it in half, but I kind of like the background being out of focus and the donut being super in focus. I do like that. So I'm just going to cut off the red flower, the red rose. And I do trim around the leaves just because I kind of originally thought, well, the leaves, I could add a die cut flower and then it would look like the flower was coming out of the photo. But I kind of don't look how that, it looks kind of weird with that pointed part there. So I'm just going to end up cutting that off. Yeah, well, I'm a little off camera, but you can see I just trimmed that area off. Now there's a soft edge to the photo, and I like how that looks better. Kind of brings the focus in also onto the donut and less on the background. So I'm going to add back my pieces. I have that kind of badge die cut here. So what I eventually end up doing on this die cut is that I add a floral blush colored flower sticker to the center of it. And then I have to decide, okay, so how am I going to pile everything? I think I like that floral die cut there, but I keep moving it around. I don't know that I quite like it over the blush pattern, but I do kind of want some layers there, so we'll see how it goes. I'm adding my title back. I'm eventually going to just stitch that title on, and then I get the idea that I can add one of these postage stamp stickers and just do the tissue paper method again, cutting away the border, because I want 3 items there. So that area looks fine. I can start adhering everything with some pop dots. And then I get the idea to add these little punched itty bitty leaves just to add some of the white. There's a lot of color at the bottom left, so I just want to add some neutral white to kind of tone it down a little bit there. Then I have to decide where else I want to add those punched bits. And I think I'll just turn on the music. I did journal on some vellum strips that I can place on the back, and now I'm cutting off the wax seals. I like these stickers because instead of, I don't know about you, but I'm not very good at doing these wax seals. I mean, I've tried several times to do the wax seals, and I just am not very good at creating them. So I like the fact that these stickers, you just got to peel and stick. So that's good for me. Maybe I'm just too klutzy to do the wax seal. I do like that silhouette. shape because this was a day that daughter and I went to Cafe Lola, so I kind of want to highlight a really feminine style here. So I'm looking, what else can I add? I like the clear labels, and I like that one too. I probably could have gone ahead and used that one, but I'm going to end up stamping something. I like this remember label, so I definitely want to use that on the blush section and just kind of pile it up there near the sticker, wax seal looking sticker, and the butterfly. And it says remember. I definitely want to remember this day because we had a super, really amazing day together. Me and my daughter, we went to this cafe place for vegan donuts and they have lattes, and I just really like hanging out with her, so that was the best part of the day. So I'm punching some more just from copy paper or any kind of scrap paper you have around. I just wanted some more of those because they kind of also add some movement, those little bits, leafy bits, little tiny punched branches. So I like that vellum piece that I've saved that from when I trimmed it off of another layout there. And this is just about how it's going to end up. The journaling I probably won't end up putting on camera or on the photos, but it will go. I did place it on vellum like I was saying earlier, and I'm going to place it on the back of the layout. So here I try out this teal charm. I really like that, but it's a little more intense, so I might take that back off. I do like that vellum set of branches there. Now I'm just going to bend up some of these just to give a little bit more dimension. I'm going to bend up some of the edges more.